Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have another watercolor painting to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I am going to paint on Arches watercolor cold press paper. That's just my favorite. It has beautiful textures, really, really beautiful watercolor paper. And I do have my Mijello Mission Gold palette going on here with some pastel pink as well. So this is a continuation of a series I've been working on since I think January I started. And the whole idea is that I'm going to paint 30 landscapes. I am following along with a Skillshare class, so I'll have all that linked down below if you want to check it out. And there is also the option of a 30-day free trial from Skillshare. I don't get anything for it. It's just something that I can, there's a link that's available to anybody. So I just put it there so you guys could check it out if you were interested. So this is painting 11 of my landscapes. I'm kind of behind. We're almost halfway through the year and I only have 11 of them complete. But if you guys know me at all, you know that I'm kind of a busy person. So I'm trying to fit them in where I can. So for this one, we're going to use, or at least this is what I used from my palette. I have bright clear violet that I've mixed with a little bit of cobalt blue to give me a purple sky, but a little more of a blue touch to it. Then I have permanent yellow light, brilliant pink, which is a pastel, burnt sienna, and indigo. I also brought in just a touch of raw umber when I painted the rock in the front. Just because I felt, you'll see the rock a little later. I didn't like how the color variation was going on it. And so I opted to add a little bit of raw umber for fun. So I'm going to paint the sky first. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit rusty. It's kind of funny. Like, the idea of this class is that you're supposed to paint a watercolor every day, but I am pretty busy, especially right now. I had this grand idea to do a big shop launch in my little sticker shop on the 15th of June, and I decided to design and create 300 stickers. So I'm a busy person, and so I don't have time to paint every day. One day maybe, but not 2 days, because the shop is kind of the shop and the channel are my bigger things right now. And so I don't paint as much as I should, and I'm losing my skill a little bit. I struggled a little bit with the sky. My water dried up faster than I wanted it to, so I didn't have enough down to get a really nice blend in the sky. So this isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. This isn't an ugly painting by any means. I wish I had gotten my sky to blend a bit better, and I feel like that's because I didn't have enough water down to start with to kind of get it to blend. So you are going to see me kind of go back and forth a little bit. I'm going to add a little more to the sky, and honestly, I actually kind of end up repainting over the sky. Thankfully, watercolors are so versatile that you can really build with them, so layering is not a problem, because you see here, like my sky is almost 100% dry at this point, and I don't like the coverage that I got. So I'm going to go in with a color that has a bit more of the cobalt blue in it instead of the bright clear violet to kind of darken up the top a bit more. And then as I get closer to that pastel pink, I brought in more of that purple and kind of brought that down to help blend my blue sky into my kind of pink portion of the sky. And then I did try to get a lot of variation between my yellow and my pink, getting some orange and whatnot in there, but honestly this was not my best ombre of colors. I did struggle a little bit just because I'm a little out of practice, to be honest. So you see that I did go in and I did a little more with the sky as well. I just didn't record it because it was the exact same thing I had done, and you guys pretty much would have seen my head as I tried to fight with my colors a little bit. And now we're going to create a little bit of water here. So the idea is that this is a beach or, anywhere near the water. And of course, Aqua is going to help me. And I guess that's because I'm painting water and she thought it was fitting to come and help. So she's going to chase my brush here in about 3 seconds as I'm trying to add some streaks to the water to kind of give it a water texture. And she smeared the paint all over the place. So thankfully there wasn't any on her foot really. So I just had to kind of clean up what got transferred to my sky, and not a big deal. It's a painting. Like, I don't know. It's hard to get excited about it. I mean, in the moment I was a little bit frustrated because I'm trying to get this painted, and I'm struggling to get it to move the way I want it to. Not that that was her fault. That was me, but But yeah, so I had to repaint my water again. I didn't have enough water to kind of get my paints to move the way I wanted them to. So I had to kind of work at this. And you did see me add a little bit of indigo into my water as well, just because I wanted a way darker shade. I did that to the sky too, right? I didn't add indigo to the sky, but I did add more of the blue tone. And so I'm trying to kind of build on this color palette that I've pretty much changed 100% from the class at this point. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a learning experience. So what do you do, right? So then I'm going to go in and I'm going to kind of paint the sand. I do kind of wish, I don't know, the instructor, she always puts water on the sky, but she never seems to put it on the land part. And I'm not experienced enough to understand why that is, because it is a larger area, so it wouldn't have been bad to kind of have a little water to help the brown tones move around. And this is supposed to be sand. I don't know if it reads as sand, because I think I darkened mine up maybe a little bit, because the sky is so dramatic that I wanted to have, this dark sand look. So I don't know. You guys tell me if it reads as sand or not. And then I am going to add some darkness to the left-hand side of it because there is a big rock structure there. So of course the sun would be, hidden behind this rock. And every time I put my hand up, it's because there's a kitten trying to, put their head on my paint or put they walked across my palette a few times. One of them tried to drink my paint water at one point. You don't see that because I was in the middle of like drying the panel. They were having so much fun helping me. So it was kind of an interesting painting experience. Everything I do now is pretty interesting because I always have the help of my kittens, but my older cats just kind of watch. The kittens, of course, have to be in everything, which there's nothing wrong with that. You guys know I love that energy, so it's been pretty fun. And then I'm going to go into the rock here in a second. And of course, every time I touch a new area, the panel is completely dry. You don't see it. I don't record drying the panel. I bring in my heat tool and I dry it that way because I'm too impatient to wait. And I'm sorry this starts out of focus here. The kitten had walked over my panel right as I'd started my camera, so it's going to focus right away, but it does start out a little bit out of focus there, and it kind of jumps back and forth as the kitten's walking underneath it, but it did sort itself out. And then here I brought in that same burnt sienna, and I'm going to add some indigo, and I'm not going to like my rock. So here, I don't know, I probably had too much water, so I'm trying to add some depth, but of course the indigo is pooling out quite a bit and I end up with very little light color. So again, it's all a learning experience. If you guys have started something new when I did, how is it going? Please tell me. I'd love to know. Are you having fun with whatever your new hobby is or your new attempt at something? Let me know, because I would love to encourage you and cheer for you, and let me be a part of the journey of starting something new, because I know how terrifying it is. And then on that little sandy beach, I did add a few more rocks with the indigo. And then here I'm going to I didn't like how my rock was turning out. So this is where I'm going to start kind of working on my rock again. And I'm going to bring in raw umber here in a minute and use that to kind of go over it. Because I didn't like the rock. I was kind of trying to add texture and I was kind of trying to add different colors and I just didn't like it. So I'm going to keep working with it. And then I get to a point where I just really don't like it. And I end up kind of just leaving it alone, letting it dry and coming back to it later. And because I didn't know how else to fix it. And then we went in and kind of added some indigo streaks to the water. This is kind of to create movement, because right now, otherwise, I don't know what you would think that blue smear is, because there's no texture to it. And you guys, if you've been with me for any length of time, know that I love texture. I love it so much. So now I'm going to go into this white gouache that I have here. I started out with a large brush, decided that was way too big, and went down to a smaller brush just because there was no way I was going to draw kind of like a wave hitting the beach is kind of what we're going for here. I think I pulled it off, but I did need to go to a way smaller brush to kind of pull that off, because it is supposed to be kind of a thin line between the sandy beach and the water. And I'm sorry my camera jumps a bunch here. I think it's just because it started that way, so it kind of gets a bit weird. I generally don't have that issue, but that's just what it kept doing, and I'm not really sure why it did that. Thankfully, it's not incredibly distracting, but it did do it a little bit. So yeah, I'm just going to add that kind of wave crashing on the beach, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of highlight randomly to the water. again, I like to go rogue when I follow the class. The instructor is phenomenal. She's beautiful. Her paintings are stunning. Like, she put clouds in the sky. If you guys have been watching this series at all, you know that the clouds are like my nemesis. I struggle so hard to get the clouds to look nice, and I was okay with the sky, so I was like, I'm not adding clouds because I'm gonna mess it up. I need to practice my clouds. But yeah, so I kind of just kept adding a little bit of white to the highlights of the water so that there would be some, texture and interest and some highlight there. And that's kind of the only place. Oh, I added a touch of white to my sky and then watered it down. You'll see it here when we kind of go to lift it off. You see that there's just a little bit of white in the sky where the yellow color is. And that's just, again, I wanted a little bit more highlight to mine, so I added that there. But I think it turned out pretty good. I hope you guys are interested in this. And if you are excited about my sticker shop, I am going to do an announcement video on Saturday the 14th, just showcasing everything that's going up on the 15th, which is Sunday. And then, yeah, Sunday will be the new sticker release. And I fixed my shipping, so hopefully now it should be more affordable. So if you were looking and you were a little deterred because of the shipping costs, I made a mistake in my shop. I caught it, I fixed it. So hopefully now the shipping should reflect a more affordable cost. So go and check that out if you're interested. The shop is of course linked and listed down below, and there is a 10% off coupon if you go from my store. So I offer that to my YouTube people, so you can go check that out. That is the video I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm really hoping to hit 20,000 by the end of the year. It would be amazing. It's my dream to grow the channel, so I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.